Hello, I'm Jonathan Black, Director of the Careers Service, and I'm going to take the next 5 minutes to describe how to create the perfect CV for banking and consulting. In my past, before this job, I was 6 years at Booz & Co and looked at a number of CVs of applicants from MBAs and undergraduates applying to Booz, and of course here in the Careers Service we see hundreds of CVs every year. So this presentation is a distillation of all our knowledge on how to do this. You can also have a look at our briefing, which I'm going to be giving you some of the content from, which you can download from our website or come into the Careers Service and pick it up. So firstly, what will appeal to the reader? 3 things. You need to demonstrate in your CV that you are reliable, that you are achievement driven, and that you have an interesting personality. This third one is because they want to know, do I want to work with this person? The first 2 are, you're reliable, so if you were on my team, I could leave you to do something and you would do it, and your achievement driven means you would actually achieve it. So, thinking about those 3 things, we're now going to talk about the 4 qualities that you need to demonstrate. So the first one is that you have outstanding problem-solving capability. Now you're at Oxford as an undergraduate or a postgraduate, so in a way you've already demonstrated a lot of this. You need to be somewhat numerate, you need to be able to solve the problems at a very high strategic level and also in the detail about sort of hourly, daily, monthly ways of working. You need to be able to do this numerically, but also in a literal sense, so you might be able to be synthesizing documents and summarizing them and solving the problem in that way. Secondly, you need to show that you can build working relationships. Management consultants and banks are typically not so hierarchical, particularly the consulting companies, so you're going to have to influence people to get them to help you. And that's how you're going to have to demonstrate that you're a good team player. And you might have done this through projects at the university, you might have done it through extracurricular, managing a sports team, being treasurer of a student society, something in your 6th form. But some way to demonstrate you can build good working relationships. So thirdly, you need to have a strong drive to succeed and an ability to really get things done. So getting it only half done is not enough, it's actually delivering it, presenting to the client. 4th and last for a reason, because it's least important, is your knowledge and experience. They recognise that you are a new undergraduate or even partway through your course, or you're a postgraduate, so you're in your early 20s. You're not going to have in-depth knowledge of a particular sector or an occupation. They're not going to hire you for your knowledge of, let's say, the oil and gas business. However, they do expect you to have some experience of some different worlds apart from academia. Lay out your CV in 3 main sections. If you look at our CV briefing, you'll see some examples, ideally on 1 page, so they'll look at it quickly. Remember, the CV is to get you the interview, not to get you the job. And the 3 classic sections are your education at the top, your work experience, and at the bottom, your additional information. Typically, the work experience will take up the majority, probably 2/3 of the page, education taking 2 or 3 centimetres at the top and the bottom. So next, how about the 5 tips to keep in mind? Keep the format simple and straightforward. Use a simple font. Now is not the time to get creative. White paper, A4, and as I said, 1 page with a very smart layout, some judicious use of bold, and maybe some highlighting, maybe some underlining, and some bullet points, but keep it simple so people can read it quickly. Try and keep the keywords on the left-hand side. So you might want to start when you're describing a job or some experience you've got, you might start it with responsible for whatever, achievements included, whatever. And if it's on the left-hand side, then people will tend to read down the left first. Make the education section really shine. Again, you're going to have the benefit of Oxford in that first section and your schools. If you're an undergraduate and you've been to school in this country, then you might want to put your A-levels, the subjects you read and the results you got. GCSEs, do not list them, but tell us how many you got. If you're from outside the UK and you've maybe got a qualification that UK people wouldn't recognise, then put in brackets explaining what the rough equivalent is. Bring those work experiences to life, and again, talk about what you were responsible for and what you achieved, who you worked for, how much money was involved, or how many people you worked with, or how many countries you had to visit. The bottom of the CV, make those interests interesting. Don't tell us 15 things when you could just tell us about 3, and one of them is, for example, cooking all the recipes in the latest Jamie Oliver book, or following South American cuisine, or travels to take photographs at Inca burial sites. So something that's slightly quirky, that you obviously do, or you might want to think about some of the things to do next term in your existing hobbies. So if, for example, if you're in a sports club or social club or student society, you might want to think about taking on a position of responsibility like the secretary or the treasurer or what have you in that society. And finally, when you've got it ready, come and see us. Edit it absolutely to perfection. No typos, no grammatical errors, completely consistent. So if you finish lines with a full stop, make sure every line finishes with a full stop. Any slightest reason that people can reject it, we want to avoid. If you're not a native English speaker, then ask one who is to check your CV and make sure it's absolutely fine. And that's all there is to it. So again, pick up our briefing, reread this, and we're always delighted to see you at the Careers Service.